everyone. This is People in Power, and I'm Summer El-Shahat. On today's program, power and politics in Kyrgyzstan.
Семейно-криминальную систему правления, где страной правят близкие родственники и друзья.
The small Central Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan held elections recently, and the incumbent president, Kurmanbek Bakayev, was returned for a second term. But European monitors say the poll was flawed, with widespread ballot box stuffing and voting fraud. This will be no surprise to many people in Kyrgyzstan. Bakayev first assumed power off the back of the so-called Tulip Revolution 4 years ago. And since then, he's been accused of systematically quashing political opposition. In the aftermath of the recent poll, state police clamped down on protesters angered by the outcome. But as Nick Lazaridis reports, despite Bakayev's dismal democratic and human rights record, his re-election is better news for the United States and its war in nearby Afghanistan.
Treason! Treason! Order! Order! Sir, I present the command. Present the colors. Present the colors!
In early June, in a remote country far from home, US troops gathered at a local airbase to formally welcome their new commander.
You see by the dawn's early light.
It may look small and unimportant, but Manas Air Base in Kyrgyzstan is crucial to America's war effort in Afghanistan, a mere 500 kilometres to the south. Since coming to office, the Obama administration has been keen to rebrand US foreign policy as a defender of human rights, but also prepared to confront the real danger zones like Afghanistan. Manas Air Base stands at the heart of these objectives. Without it, America's resupply effort would be almost impossible.
This day would not be complete without the participation of our host here in Kyrgyzstan, to whom we extend, obviously, the warmest of welcomes and thanks. The people...
Given its strategic importance, you might have thought the US Commanding General might have learnt to pronounce the name of his host country.
The people and the government of Kyrgyzstan remain essential to our coalition's collective efforts to defeat terrorism.
It's a minor example of the lax attitude the US has adopted towards this otherwise forgotten country. Throughout the Bush years, the US turned a blind eye to internal politics in Kyrgyzstan. That legacy has left a country in crisis, racked with systemic corruption and governed by a president, Kurmanbek Bakayev, who's seen as increasingly out of control.
Мы входим в первую четверку коррумпированных стран наравне с Зимбабве, Чадом. Политическая система превратился в семейно-криминальную систему правления, где страной правят близкие родственники и друзья.
Под властью Бакиева Кыргызстан подходит к такому явлению, очень печальному, как это случилось в Колумбии, где были созданы эскадроны смерти, которые устраняли всех политических противников режима.
20 minutes drive from the US airbase in Kyrgyzstan's capital, Bishkek, a city regarded as Central Asia's most corrupt, there's little enthusiasm for an American presence that is perceived as simply adding to its woes.
Но из них прибыль, конечно, государство какие-то деньги платит, многие деньги, наверное, платят. Госбюджет, наверное, хорошие деньги получает. Но из этих денег все они по карманам рассасываются, чиновничьим карманам. Не, они тоже в этом же.
Working dusk till dawn, taxi driver Barik Jumadilov earns about $6 a day. He says very few Kyrgyz are prepared to speak out against the ruling clan.
Всем, каждому, даже здесь школьникам ясно, что Бакиев управляет со своим семьем клан, как был.
In just 5 years, Bakiyev's powerful ruling clan has made a dramatic impact on Kyrgyz society, and through an established pattern of nepotism, the family exerts effective control of the state at every level. Now, as people look back to the heady days of the Tulip Revolution that resulted in Bakiyev's ascension to power, they wonder what it was all about. The man they removed was Askar Akayev, a meek Soviet-era academic turned ruler who, along with many of his family members, amassed a considerable wealth. Yet for all his faults, Akayev is credited with supporting a free press and an independent court system, and crucially, he also respected human rights. But those achievements seem to have been squandered, and with an abysmal human rights record that continues to plummet amidst an ongoing saga of political intrigue and murder, the Kyrgyz government is fast becoming the region's most sinister and dangerous regime.
What would you think? Do you want us to stay?
None of this appears to bother the new administration in Washington. When George Bush gave way to Barack Obama, there was some hope that the US would put pressure on Bakiyev to reform. But these hopes quickly faded in January this year when the Kyrgyz president threatened to close the Manas airbase. It was a smart move because suddenly any American appetite for a confrontation on human rights seemed less important than the need to maintain the vital supply route to Afghanistan.
Do you have an inside feeling that the base is going to stay here?
That's a government decision.
Это решает правительство.
I'm military.
Я военный.
6 months on, the US has agreed to pay Bakiyev's government an inflated $70 million a year in rent, and apparently to keep its nose out of Kyrgyzstan's dirty internal affairs.
У нас сегодня действует старый первобытный принцип. Победитель получает все, побежденному в горе. Он теряет и собственность, жену, и возможную жизнь.
In 2005, Omarbek Tekebayev was the Speaker of Kyrgyzstan's parliament. He played a crucial role in the Tulip Revolution, which unwittingly helped Bakiyev's clan-based regime consolidate control.
Ну, эта семья контролирует всю республику и криминалитет. Криминалитет поделен там между членами семьи и тому подобное. Все контролируется. Все.
What started as a genuine people power revolution was quickly taken over by thugs and criminals intent on installing Kurmanbek Bakiyev to the presidency.
Криминалитет активно участвовал в этой революции. И естественно, что бюрократия в союзе с криминалитетом, они совершили этот государственный переворот.
Opposition politician Bakit Beshimov says that having come to power courtesy of the criminal gangs, President Bakiyev now uses their methods for political control.
Он пришел к власти при помощи бандитов. И с этими бандитами он продолжает работать, и руками этих бандитов он пытается расправиться со своими политическими оппонентами.
А взятие Белого дома, вот отсюда произошло. Вот здесь сидел Бакиев, 24 числа. Я сидел наверху. Вся их команда здесь сидела, и все их организовал, все полностью.
Another member of Kyrgyzstan's opposition forces who regrets the events that followed the Tulip Revolution is Dr. Janishbek Nazraliev.
И я пошел на эти баррикады только по одной простой причине, чтобы свергнуть Акаева. Но не для того, чтобы пришел Бакиев. Если он даже пришел, и я ему помог, но помог я ему только при одном условии, что будут настоящие революционные реформы. Да, и сегодня говорить о революции просто глупо, потому что это был переворот.
As Kyrgyzstan's leading narcologist, an expert on drugs of addiction, Dr. Nazraliev is renowned worldwide for his successful shock and coma clinic in Bishkek. Popular and fiercely independent, he says he ran against Bakiev in the July presidential election, driven by disgust, he says, with Kyrgyzstan's murderous downward spiral.
Одного убили, второго убили, третьего убили, завтра еще одного убьют. Понимаете? Это уже не вызывает какого-то шокового состояния. Да. Люди свыкаются, и самое страшное, что происходит смирение с этим.
After the break, how Bakayev's regime has turned on some of its own former supporters. That's in a moment.